Welcome back to the channel, where in today's video we're introducing a brand new car to the fleet, our very own Toyota Chaser JZX100. Now this story starts quite a way back, because in 2022 I found myself in Japan experiencing all of what Japanese car culture's all about. And ever since then, a JZX100 was high on my list of cars that I had to own one day. Fast forward a little bit and we find ourselves driving all over the UK trying to find the perfect car. However, anybody that's been looking at these cars will probably know it's very hard to find a clean one here. Time went on, we probably looked at 10, 15 cars, never quite finding the right one as a base for us, until Boxing Day 2023, when I get a call and I was told by a friend that there was a very nice one that had just been imported and was with the guys at Garage D. Now, we already work with these guys because we buy a lot of parts for our drift cars from them. So a quick call, and yeah, I picked it up on Boxing Day itself. Fast forward to now, it's looking very different to how it did when we first collected it. I'm going to give you a show around and go through some of the details and some of the stuff that we've done to build our dream Chaser. We start off here at the heart and soul of this Japanese legend with the 1JZ VVTi. We've refreshed this engine from top to bottom, everything from rod bolts and bearings all the way up to using Tomei cams, and everything in between has been refreshed, enhanced, so she can take the punishment that it will inevitably get down the road. We've then mated it with a Pulsar G3770, a Blitz intercooler and a whole host of parts from Pro Alloy to keep her cool. We're then running a full new performance fuel system, mated with a Max ECU race system to keep it all managed and running perfectly. If we come down here, you may recognise these wheels from a previous project of ours, because these are the exact same wheels that were on our R32 GTR project. We bought them back because they were the perfect fitment for this car. We're running 9.5J all the way around, 225 tyre on the front and a 245 on the rear. Then if we look behind those, we've got these very bright yellow calipers because EBC stepped in to help us out. When I drove this car with the extra power, believe me, those old 90s brakes really left you wanting a bit more. But this has addressed that perfectly. We've gone for the fronts, but we've left the rears as stock because we actually utilise the original e-brake rather than putting in a hydro, because what we're trying to build here is a street car. Then that brings us to the interior. With this build, we wanted to keep it as comfortable as possible. Obviously, the first thing you'll notice is the full custom roll cage. Now, we built a bolt-in dash dodger for this, but fully custom, nothing here's off the shelf. We wanted this to be safe, but yet convenient and usable. We didn't want to start chopping up that lovely dashboard or chopping into our door cards. We wanted to run as much of the original interior as possible. One thing you will notice that is not original is obviously the seats, because if you're drifting, you'll probably roll out of the standard seats in these. So we went with a Bride Lomax carbon backs, just for extra bouginess, because you can see them from the back in a saloon like this. And then we've gone for the Nardi wheel, matching very retro gear knob. I don't know why I picked that, I just saw it, thought it was cool, thought it was really retro, and I quite like it. But other than that, in here, we are not finished. There's more work to do on the interior, like this carbon that's all peeling. I need to get all of this out, get that refreshed, and there's a few other touches. But what I am really pleased with is we've managed to keep a roof lining. In a lot of cars, when you put a cage in, that's one of the first things to come out. But I was very adamant on this car. I wanted to keep it as much like an OEM stock car inside as possible, so when you're driving it around, you're not driving a rattly old tin can. And I think we've pulled that off pretty well, because when you're driving it, it actually feels really comfortable. And then that finally brings us to the part that you've probably all been admiring, and that is the exterior of this car. Our friends at Colourcraft helped me create the perfect vision of a Chaser. Now, You may notice this body kit is a Labo kit, but it is not in its standard form, because in its standard form the body kit gets bigger towards the back and flares out, and that is not how I personally like a car to look. I like it to taper and go up at the rear, more like a dart. So what they've done is they've taken a big wedge out of the side skirts to actually taper them up. They've then raised the rear bumper and brought it in because the edges flared out past the wheels, and that made it look, well, a little bit like a Stormtrooper's crash helmet, and I didn't like it. We've then got the rear spoiler on the deck lid and on the roof as well, and then a set of Ganna doors just to finish it off. Whilst this car was originally going to be painted a totally different colour, in my mind I had purple. So that deep purple, those accents you see in the engine bay, that was my original plan for this car. But as time went on, I felt you just can't beat a white Chaser. So we went with white, but we did go with something a little bit different. This is not your classic Toyota white. This is a custom metallic Porsche white that we used for this car. It's very subtle, but it's a little bit brighter than some of the Toyota whites, and it's got that little sparkle when it's in the sun that really sets it off. The nice thing about this is it's a completely usable car. So we can drive this from here to a drift day and drive it back. No, we will not be using this to drift on the streets. That is not what we're about. But it is useful to have a car that you can drive from your house to a track day with your friends, and then, provided you don't go wild or end up in the wall, drive it all the way home as well. We have a CAS two-way diff, and then to get it sitting this low, we had to build our own custom lower arms mated with the BC coilovers. Big shout out to BC, they're always supporting us with our builds and all my requests for different spring rates. I'm a little bit fussy with that, but I think we're where we need to be now with this one. This drives beautifully, it suits my driving style. Other than that, we are pretty much done. We've got to load this up on a lorry now, take it out to Poland for Ultra Race, where we'll be giving it its first proper run in front of the crowds drifting. Then when we come back, that is not the last you will see of this car, because I've got a whole host of other plans for it. I want to finish off that interior, and there are a few other little bits and bobs that I'd really like to build our dream JZX100. We're still on the hunt for all those little rare parts, but they do come up from time to time, so when we find them, they will be added too, so there will be more and more videos on this car as we go along. But for now, enjoy some finished shots of it as we get ready to take this out to Poland and put it through its paces. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one.